Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Now, what I'd like to talk about in today's video, I was just looking through a few ideas about what I wanted to make videos on, and I noticed a couple of things, like, going on in our culture. Such as things like failed marriages and relationships, as well as even, like, really bad issues where, families have been torn apart because a parent has abandoned people, and even just abandonment of like career goals and education and whatnot. And this observation led me to this topic that I will be discussing. And this topic is about the lack of commitment that I see going on in today's day and age. And what I feel are the effects that is the direct what would be the word, I suppose, the ramifications of this. Now I'm going to look at a few key points to talk about why I feel that this is. You guys know the deal. So let's start with the first point. So I'd like to address this as a statement of when, the going gets tough, the tough get going. Like, I want to talk about this statement because this is a mentality that is so prevalent in households these days. Fathers abandoning the families because, like, they're having a hard time and they feel like, well, this is getting too rough, and so they just abandon them. Then we have people quitting a relatively well-paying job because they don't want to put up with a boss that's giving them a hard time. Lack of commitment plays a major role in this because when in regards to the fatherhood and whatnot, like, did the kids get there by themselves? Did the kids get there by themselves, or did it take two to tango? Then in regards to, like, work, we see, like, listen, man, like, you've got a relatively solid paying job, and yeah, the boss may be dog crap, but that's a blessing in today's day and age. Like, so many people unfortunately aren't even able to get paid $10 an hour. So if you've got a relatively well-paying job and you don't really like that someone's being difficult with you and you just quit, what that really tells me is the fact that, people usually these days, once again, they goes back to that statement, when the going gets tough, tough get going. But, like, what tough is usually portrayed as, is people endure hardships. And yet this very way of thinking that has been adopted by so many people, going gets tough, blah, 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 is the absolute opposite. So many people are just abandoning things, jobs, schooling, even families, because they're not committed and they don't want to follow through with the decisions that have led them to the results that they see themselves in now, whether that be families, whether that be education, or even career goals. Now, talking about point two, it's a territory I don't really have much experience in. But nonetheless, just from the observations that I have seen, it's something that I feel like I can talk about just a bit. That's being relationships, unmarried, married. I've seen so many married people, mainly men, but relax, I'm not saying that it's exclusive to men. And they talk about having a side chick, or, I suppose that's someone that they talk to even though they're in a relationship, despite the fact that they know it's wrong and whatnot. And, even when I was in high school, so many of the guys I was around, not necessarily because they were, like, really close friends, just more so, like, I just hang out with them because just whatever, for the most part. They would brag about how many girls they have in their phones, despite seeing them, with a girl that they were, quote-unquote, in a relationship with. And with this affair mentality just spreading around, starting even at a young age, as like in high school and whatnot. Most people, I don't know why they can't understand why the divorce rate is so high, because what I'm seeing is that most of these people, want to get some kind of instant gratification, and they don't want to bother with long-term commitment, which is why, like, once again, like, some person is literally in a relationship and they're cheating on their spouse or their boyfriend or girlfriend, even though they have exactly what they are trying to get in that other person that they're trying to cheat with, right? And, so despite the fact that they are in a relationship with someone, they just don't have any qualms about going to someone else, and, getting that other person to cheat on them, right? And, so despite the fact that they are in a relationship with someone, they just don't have any qualms about going to someone else, and, getting that other person to cheat on them, right? And, so despite the fact that they are in a relationship with someone, they just don't have any qualms about going to someone else, and to get something else that they want. And then they have the audacity to pretend like there's nothing wrong. Like, I could not believe how many of my associates would have all these girls' numbers in their phone and act as if like there wasn't anything wrong with that, despite the fact that they claim to be in a relationship, you know. And point three, which is more so a cause and effect ordeal that I would like to address. And that is, I feel like this lack of commitment going on in this day and age, it really has its roots in how a lot of us were raised in the day and age we are raised in. But let me explain, because this isn't really a parental thing. This is more so, once again, a day and age kind of issue that I'm getting at. Because you just think about it for a moment, right? We're so used to a now, I need it now, give it to me now attitude, right? We push a button, and within a few seconds, we get food out of the microwave. A meal that could have taken perhaps 30 minutes takes 3 minutes. We search something on the internet, and within the blink of an eye, we have millions upon millions of results to a desired question or resource. With the steady growth of technology, most people are so used to getting things within a timely fashion that the idea of patience is so foreign to them. Like, just being asked to wait is just so unnatural to people these days. And as a result, they don't build that essential trait. They don't build this trait that we like to call fortitude. Fortitude is a really important trait that was built, before, like, I guess, the internet and technology and whatnot became as advanced as it is, because, I mean, you had to wait, like, you didn't always have microwaves, you didn't always have, like, a darn internet. You had to look stuff up in an encyclopedia, you actually had to cook your meal and whatnot, so it wasn't always going to take, just push of a button and bam, meal's done. So fortitude was something that was kind of ingrained in you. But nowadays, like, everyone is so weak-willed, like, they can't be asked to endure the simplest of things. And, usually it's not even something, like, really that physically or mentally demanding. It's just really a little small test of patience. Like, how many people do you know, right, who will go to a restaurant and, like, make a huge scene because they see that someone got their food before they did, even though they came in first? They don't consider the fact that, like, maybe that meal was already being prepared and that person just ordered some of what was already there, and then they were like, all right, here you go. And yet here's this person, throwing this big scene. Like, the test of fortitude and patience, that's just completely gone to these people today. And what do we get as a result? We get a lack of commitment, we get failed relationships, we have lack of patience, failed career pursuits, just a whole lot of failure. And I don't think anyone is pleased as a result of that. So with that being said, that's just going to bring this short little video to a close. I don't necessarily know how long it is. It's probably just a really quick little video. But nonetheless, I just wanted to address that because, commitment is something really important. And it's not just about, relationships. I know, like, a lot of people, that's what gets the numbers. It's like when people hear commitment, they think relationships. But it goes a lot deeper than that, And I'm seeing a very, very, very small amount of that these days. And I can't help but feel like that has a role to play as in why society and culture is the way that it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed once again. And as always, rate the video what you think it deserves. Tell me what you would like to see in the future in the comments below. Feel free to check out my amino. It will be linked in the comments. Feel free to check out my BitChute, linked in the About Me page of my channel. And I will see all of you in the next one. Take care.